Hello everybody and welcome back to the coolest dog training channel right here on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's Canine Educator. Happy New Year, first and foremost. I hope everyone's holidays were fun and safe. Today I am back on YouTube with the second episode with Bear, the small white dog.
How do you start transitioning this to your everyday life? And how to create more confidence with her.
I am physically tense right now.
If you haven't watched the first episode, just click the link above. So now in this second episode, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of how to build confidence in any dog. And in this particular case, you'll notice a significant difference in the jump in confidence in this dog in a very small time. So if you remember the first session, it looks something like this. Yeah, this dog didn't want anything to do with me at any given time. We started breaking ground towards the end of the session, and then the next day, it's about to go down right now.
She's doing very good. Sit, good girl. So now that she's to this point with me, I'm gonna hand off the leash to you in a second, and then we're gonna go over what we talked about before of how do you start transitioning this to your everyday life and how to create more confidence with her and how to have a better relationship with her as well. Yes, good girl. Nice. Oh my goodness, what a good girl. Let's go this way. Nice. And the good thing about all this is I don't have to give her hardly any pressure with the prong. So that's the beauty, is she's doing all of this. If I move forward, she's so hooked on me, which is wonderful. Good. So she's in a way better spot mentally, which is great. And training, she's doing fabulous. All of the anxiety, stress, and insecurities are here. And it's creative off your relationship. So I'm not gonna try to tackle so much like fixing all of that, because it's a byproduct of your relationship. And that's what we're gonna work on now. And I'll be able to help you with that, just with how you handle her. So couple tips before we get started is when you're walking with her, every dog is different. And with her, she's kind of on the verge of like, am I doing it? Am I doing it? It's like a little kid trying to ride the bike for the first time or whatever. You want to be like, yeah, you're doing a really great job. So historically, I would tell people not to look down at your dog and give them too much talking. So tell her, good girl, but try not to have too much conversation with her and try to be focused on where you're going versus looking at her the entire time. But I will encourage you to look at her a little bit more than I normally would tell people, just because she's trying to figure out this big scary world. And if you help her and hold her hand, if you will, through that process with your verbal, like, good job, I think that she'll be more inclined to be motivated to do so. So I'm gonna hand the leash off to you, and then I'm gonna have you try all this stuff. Break. So let's put her on your left side, just like how I was handling her. And that side, and then I want you to just heel her around the room. Heel, and like I said before, dog training is a versatile thing. It's not, oh, this is what this is what you have to do with this. It's like cooking. You can kind of add a little bit to your dish as you'd like. So heel for us is just having the dog in the left side of us in this position on a loose leash. That's what. One thing I would do is just take this leash and put it here. I want you to be as calm. It's not so much about calm because you're very calm. It's more about, I don't want you to have a lot of projects going on. I want you to just be like, this is what we're doing. So I don't want you to, so if you can just hold the leash all in one hand, it discourages you from going like, because now when you're doing this, see, like some people will, and there's a time and a place for this, for competitive healing and what have you, but when you're doing this, your brain subconsciously is focusing on this hand and then the dog. So if I can just go like, hey, just hold it all here because you got like a 4-pound dog, just walk just with one hand so you're more good. And your handling hand, nice and relaxed. Put it down a little bit. There you go. Nice. And then I would also just choke up on your leash a little bit. So pull it up just a little bit. Yep. Because the more leash you have for her, she'll have all that room to. There you go. That's pretty much perfect right there. Into the middle of the floor here, just ask her to sit.
Sit.
Beautiful. Good.
Good.
Good. And then go back into a heel.
Yep.
That was good. So you stopped yourself from physically giving her a reward and touching her because it looked like you kind of reached to pet her. And you can pet your dog, however, with her. You've been overkill with her for so long that I want you to start just looking at her and saying like, hey, good job. So, because again, we're trying to step back from dependency. And if you're physical, it's very, very it's a different type of affection and reward. So another thing that she does that I want to go over too is I'm going to pull this seat out. And then
now in this next section that we're about to do, it's a really cool thing for me to learn as much as I possibly can about working with smaller dogs and working with these types of things. I try to be as creative as I can in each session with any dog that I'm working with to try to better the experience for the dog and the owner, and to better myself as well as an educator. So this next session is really, really cool because I try some things that I haven't done before, and we go straight to school and really try to get creative to help this dog gain more confidence at the fastest rate possible. So the next level and the next part of the session is a little bit more educational and experimental, but it's something I had a lot of fun doing and I learned a lot.
And then we're gonna give her a little break, and then I want you to just sit down, and I wanna see how she acts with you when she's ground level and you're sitting, because that's something I know she has a really hard time with, or you might have questions about.
Yeah. What's interesting, what you're saying, and I want to mention this morning, is like, we're staying in that hotel, and there's only one chair in the room, and that's where I sit and do my work because I work remotely. And when I would get up from my seat, the minute I would get up from my seat, she would sit on my seat. Wanted to be right then and there, right where my body was.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we're doing this.
Oh, and if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Just so you know, we play a fun game on every video that I post. If you leave a comment and like this video within 3 hours and you live in the United States, you automatically get entered to win some free No Bad Dog merch. So all you have to do to enter, leave a comment below and like this video.
When they're used to getting picked up, they're like, well, this is really lovely because now I have advantage. But then I find that creates more protection stuff because you have your dog on your persons, if you will. So now you have this dog that's insecure and semi-protective, and then you literally put it right here. Yeah. And then I did this little experiment on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. My cousin has this little teacup type Yorkie. It's like this big. It's like she's big compared to this dog. And so I would go to say hi to him, and then the dog would try to bite me, and he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, well, okay, let me show you something. I go, the only reason why your dog's doing that is because they feel like when they're here, they're like a little shield, and they become like a little gremlin there. And then he gave me his dog, and he tried to say hi to me, and then she tried to bite him. And he was like, whoa. And I'm like, it's not so much your dog is protecting you. Your dog feels like when they're in this position, they have nothing else to do because they're vulnerable. They don't have feet on the ground. They're just imagine being in a harness just dangling, and you're like, you don't know there's nothing else you can do. Yeah. So I think that there's so many different combinations of things, and we'll never really know exactly why these behaviors happen, but I can tell you that it makes sense to me that dogs become extremely vulnerable in this, because it's not natural, because they should be down there figuring life out, right. And then they become more protective because they're in front of you too. You're like.
So do you think if we really want well-behaved dogs to be dogs, that should not be on top of a couch?
I wouldn't say that. I for me, that would be very hypocritical for me because I let my dogs on the couches all the time. Uh-huh. But I think the most important thing is, and this kind of leaks and dives into a little bit of the dominance theory that everyone talks about, that is, a truly dominant dog is extremely rare, but that's just a word everyone likes to throw out because they've seen it on TV before. So one of the problems you'll have with dogs doing that is if you tell them to get down and they won't, and then if they become protective of that because they're higher than you or at the same level as you. So I just find that it's not, there's so many different combinations. It's not a binary thing of like, if you let it's just very situational. So I don't know. But yes, I mean, if you're having problems with like, if your dog is always on the back of the couch and then your guests sit down on the couch and then your dog reacts, you need to be like, whoa, you're now down here, because that's not where you're supposed to be. Because if you give them an opportunity to be on top, they sometimes act like they're on top. And that's where they get that like Napoleon complex of like, I'm up here, get the heck down. And that creates problems. So let's have you sit down and I want to go over that. Like if we created, so see, this is why I wanted to do this, because see how she's jumping up to get to you. Yeah. She's going to try to do that probably when anybody else comes into the house, or I think just at any time you sit down in a place that's not home, and she may even do it at home. So what I would suggest to do is do what you did, but also try to be empathetic towards what she's trying to do. She's trying to say like, I'm not comfortable down here, and we might have to look at that as like okay, yeah, you're right. You're like a tiny little dog, a smaller dog than the majority of dogs, if you will. So maybe we can give her a little bit of that without giving it all the way, which would then, like if you had a chair or a couch or something that you primarily hung out in at home, or even if you traveled with one of these little beds, so go ahead and ask her to get up there. Good. So I would, so correct her down a little bit.
She's grabbing on like crazy.
Yeah. Good. Because that's what she wants. So actually, just let her do it. Let her do what she wants for a second. Just let her do what she wants. I want to see what she does. Because this is like a little problem solving for us to figure out what's going on. Do whatever. Do whatever. Let's just do a combination of things. There. Okay. So again, like that is her. And again, like we can't be too punishing to her to like say, hey, that's totally bad, because that's what she's done her whole life, because she's 4, right? So say, actually, I want you to come on here, and then you can, because she wants that's comfort for her. Yeah. And it's created comfort, which means for me, I just made that word up, but it means to me that it's created comfort, which means like when she was a puppy, she didn't do that. Right. It was created, like you created, like this is where you're comfortable. Yep. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to say like don't have your dog do that, because it is small enough to do that, which is why you have a smaller dog. But at the same time, you have to be careful how they view it. Yes. Like it becomes selfish for us to say, hey, I want you up here, and then your dog's like, well, if I do anything else but there, then I'm insecure and I can't be a dog, which is a problem. Yep. So why don't you just get up and then get her back down, and then let's try to just put her on the place, and then you sit down next to her. And she's not going to want to do that, but use your leash to catch her before she jumps, to teach her that that's like an alternative. Good. Saying like, yeah, you can hang out, but like you can't get on me because you have stuff to do. And then of course, like you don't want her to become defensive. Like if you're sitting, say you went to the hotel and you had your little pad, you want to sit down and have coffee or whatever and do your work. You don't want her on your lap and then like looking at everybody as they walk by, because again, like when we do protection work with like police dogs and just like Schutzen and ring sport stuff, we put the dogs generally right in front of us because it automatically creates that protective drive in dogs. We say, hey, there's the bad guy, and then here you are. We don't ever train a dog behind us to bark at the bad guy, because we actually want them to be in charge. We want.
That's why I hear some trainers say, make sure that you enter a door before your dog does.
Yeah, it's not like that's. So I'm talking about like protective instincts. That is more of like you're making your like the way that we do it. Again, I'm really big on that. Like the way that I do it isn't like textbook of like, it's just what I believe in is when you have a gate or a door, it's nice to, when you're having like issues with the dog, not sure where they're at with life and where they're at with you, telling them to sit and then walking through the door creates that threshold awareness of, It's just like putting a bowl down and then breaking the dog to that. Because the source and the reward is going to be the food or the treat or the ball that's on the ground that you then release your dog to. It's the same concept as the door. It becomes a portal. We don't look at it as that. We don't look at it that like we're just going out the door, but for them, they're like, yeah, let me out. So it's the same concept to say like you have to work before you get what you want. And also like, hey, I'm making decisions and you're not. And so it's a good way to start your day with the dog.
All right, guys, it's now time for a little game we like to play here on the channel, Tom's Trivia. All you have to do is simply leave your answers in the comments below. And it's a little fun game we like to do to see if you guys know your dog facts. So the question in Tom's Trivia of the day is, what country has the highest population of dogs? You guys take a good guess, or if you know the answer, leave it below.
So good. So anyway, so I would suggest, again, to develop this relationship status is to just say, like, what I would do is just take your leash and again, like, start practicing just being nice and relaxed and hanging out right there. And if she gets up, no place. And you may even give her like a little bone to work on and let her do her own thing. But good. Good job, Bear. That's good.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's a good girl. Good girl. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I were to walk into your hotel and I saw this, I would be like, all right, they have it down. Like, these guys have a good relationship. Because you're a human, you're eating breakfast, doing your thing, and your dog is just coexisting with you. Your dog isn't sitting there going like, can I have food? What do you have? Can I get on your lap? Can I protect you? Who's that? What's that sound? What do you think of this? Is that yogurt? Is that like, you're just like, hey dude, like you're a dog and I'm a human and I love you and we're gonna do as much as we possibly can together, but there's gonna be restrictions that we have because you're a dog. So anyway, so like this is like the first step to your new relationship, if you will, to just say like, that's you, this is me.
What's interesting is that when you walked over here and did this, I realized my body was all tensed up.
Yeah.
And right after you did that, I actually mentally was like,
yeah.
wait a minute, I am physically tense right now. I'm not in danger, so just relax.
Yep.
And I relaxed.
And she laid down. Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. And when you come up here, you're going to say, Bear, place. Yes, good place. Good. Good place. So what you did is you said Bear, place, and then good Bear. Totally like not detrimental. However, you're missing an opportunity to mark this behavior.
Got it.
So
what I want her to do, and then the good after?
Yep. So the good.
And then good.
Correct.
Okay.
So the good.
Heel, and then good.
Or no, good, it'd be good, heel, good place. So
good and
yeah,
then
so
heel.
Good signifies to her the way that we say good means we've done something good. You can say bad, just say it like bad. She'll go, yay.
Right.
But just the way that we're doing it is good. And she's gonna go, okay, that was good. What was that I just did? Mm-hmm. Heel, good heel. Okay, heel, this must be heel.
Heel, good heel.
Yeah,
okay.
so.
Tell her what I want to do.
And then good.
She does it, say
Yep.
good, and then, hey, here's what you did good.
Mm-hmm. Think about it like
Heel, good,
a
heel.
problem-solving brainstorm type thing. This just popped in my head, almost like charades. And this is what I mean by that. Like when you play charades, you're like, this, no that, no this. You're like, close. And then when they get it, you're like, ding, like you got it, right? So this is what I mean by that. Let me show you. So when you do this, you're gonna go Bear, place. Yes, good place. Well done.
Bear, place. Okay,
And then good place. Place. Good. And now that was the other thing I wanted to show you, is again to immediately gain more confidence in a dog and build your relationship for the better. Have control over everything. So I told her to place. She did really well, and then she jumped off. So that's like little Timmy. Go do your homework. They go, and then they walk away. Right. And you go, yeah, okay, that was good enough. No, that's actually not good enough. Okay, now Timmy, you're done with your homework. Now you can go play. So making sure you're the gatekeeper, it creates that structure. And it's just like with kids. If you have that structure of like, did I tell you you can do this? Did I tell you you can do that? And it's not because us as parents are trying to be militant, we just care. And we want to teach structure. And we want to teach responsibility and respect. And we're trying to develop something. And so when you say place, good place, and then we can talk about implied stays or sit stay or however you want to do it, but do not let her get off until you say, okay, break, and then yay, now she can do what she wants. So we're gonna throw it into like the real world.
Okay.
So this is what you would do, okay? So you're gonna place, and then you're gonna sit and do your thing.
Fair place? Good place.
So just catch her. You got it like that. That's what your prong collar does, is it just says, there. So just give her a little break and do it again, and just make sure, because she's fast and she's little and she can do all that stuff.
Place?
Nice place.
Good place.
So, yep, use your leash. Use your leash, good. There you go, nice. Good, and then choke up on your leash so you have more control. So, yep, so that's all you'll do. Yep, that way, see, there. But just try to keep that nice and relaxed. And you basically just flick your wrist and catch her. And then she'll probably just lay down again. But this is all new for her. So she's not making mistakes if she was taught to do the other thing over and over again. So it's not a big deal. She's gonna continue to go, yeah, but we usually do this and we usually do that. And you just say,
This is fine, yeah.
yep. So you're just teaching her to be nice and relaxed right there, which is wonderful. Good. And then why don't you try to just drop the leash and see what she does. Good. Nice job. Good. So what we'll do to make this better is we'll teach her the place. We may teach her the downstay or whatever we want to do. We'll talk about that after to make this more a thing. Mm-hmm. So and that's where I think some dog owners get very frustrated, is you're going to try, this is the big picture. And then when you go and do it in like your hotel, that's the big game. That's like the biggest picture. But if we take it like 3 steps backwards and we say, let's master this part first, make this really nice foundation, then we'll build to this, but she knows this really well, you're gonna be more successful. So you're building a better foundation. So you're not gonna be all flaky in the future. And over time, what you'll do is you'll help this out by getting up.
Yeah.
She's got to stay there. Moving your arms, she's got to stay there. Having a conversation with yourself, she's got to stay there. Moving around, things like that, twisting and just desensitizing her. Because right now, if you were to just twist your body to your right, see what she does.
Right?
Yeah, your whole body. There you go. So see how like that's going to make her go, where are we going? So over time, we're going to desensitize all of that. And then you're going to move, just make motion with your body. Good, there, nice. And then you would then say good stay or good wait. Or if we're doing implied stuff, you would say good place or good sit. Just depends on how we want to do it.
So what you're seeing in the next couple scenes is really cool, because all we're doing is we're compartmentalizing the individual commands to make the road less bumpy for not only Bear, but for the owner. So we're just practicing very basic commands and very basic behaviors, so that way the dog in the future, or Bear in the future, knows exactly, oh, I know what you want me to do because we've practiced this so many times. And it gives the owner an opportunity to say, hey, I'm in a new environment, here's what I want you to do. We've practiced it a bunch. So that's all we're doing right now, but it's a very crucial and important role in the training and being successful in these types of situations.
Good place.
Stay.
Stay.
So see how she's sideways? Mm-hmm. So what I would do is if you want her to break, if you want her to face that way, have her come up here. Place. Right? Because you made her place.
Even go as far as putting Bear into a place, sit, stay, having the owner walk out the room, and as you can see, Bear does really well with that as well. And so from even yesterday, Bear has come a long way. Bear's owner has come a long way. I've learned some new things. We're trying to constantly grow at the Upstate Canine Academy. And so that wraps up this session and this series with Bear. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, of course, just leave a comment, like this video. It's the best way you can support me. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss anything. You don't miss any opportunity to win some No Bad Dog merch. And I appreciate you guys very much. I will talk to you next time. Peace.